Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited, super excited to be here on another episode of The Conversation at TOS Television Network. Such a lovely day, and I'm super excited to be bringing you the conversation on everything that we have in stock for you today. I'm Adace Elsie.
And I am Merciful Ajin. Good morning, Adace.
Good morning. I like the way you say it.
Yeah, I know. You know, the holiday is over. Everyone is back to their work and everything. So
I
the road
didn't
is
even
not as
notice
free as
because
possible.
I've always been here, so
Because when I was coming to work yesterday, like everyone was practically empty, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So now we're back here.
I literally forgot that people were on break. Welcome back. Welcome to work.
So how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Good.
How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, we're going to, quickly, before we get on with the show, bring you the quote of the day. I think Roy Bennett is always, I think Roy Bennett is a very optimistic person.
Very. He talks about things of the mind, everything,
exactly.
Positivity, optimism and everything.
Yes, exactly. Use your mind to create whatever you want. So
feed your mind with positive thoughts.
Exactly. When you feed your mind with positive things, everything around you just starts, turn out
Definitely.
well. And even when it doesn't turn out well, you know that maybe it's not supposed to work out at that time, and then there's something better, in front for you.
Definitely.
All right, moving straight into development across Africa. We're going to be starting, from Kaduna State here in Nigeria, where 5 abducted students of the Kaduna College have been released. The 5 of the 39 abducted students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, Kaduna, have been set free after 25 days in captivity. Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, confirmed the development in a statement on Monday evening. Aruwan said they were undergoing thorough medical checkup at a military facility. According to him, the Nigerian military has informed the Kaduna State government that 5 of the many kidnapped students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, Kaduna, were recovered this afternoon and are presently in a military facility where they are undergoing a thorough medical checkup. The Kaduna State government will provide updates and further operational feedback to be received on this case. Now, I wanted to know, were they released or were they rescued? Because they said they were set free and then they said that they were recovered. So was there some sort of negotiation? And if there was some sort of negotiation, why are they just getting 5 out of 39? There's so much.
I think the Kaduna State government knows that people want to get information. That's why, towards the end of the statement, it said they'll give us, information and update on everything happening. Because even if it's good news, it's good news. We have 5 out of, the 30-something number of people. We still expect information on how the remaining people, rescued and everything.
And I hope they're rescued because it's very traumatizing, terrible experience.
Really. Still on Kaduna State, northern Nigeria, Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has said on Sunday that the bandits and abductors are targeting Kaduna State because the state has daringly refused to give them money or negotiate with them. However, the governor has reiterated that the state is painstakingly determined never to pay money to bandits amidst the renewed attack by the armed group. He said, and I quote, "We have a feeling that the renewed attacks in Kaduna are not unconnected to the position that we have taken as a government that we will not negotiate with criminals." He said, "We will not give them any money and they will not make any profit from Kaduna. Anyone that comes to Kaduna will not get a penny from the state government, except he will get a bullet instead."
Wow, I like the stern.
Very affirmative and precise in his words and everything. Yeah.
I hope he stands by it, but I also hope that while that is happening,
the lives are not at stake.
And they're also, putting measures in place to ensure that the kidnapped college students and every other person who have been kidnapped in Kaduna State are let go, or are recovered, are set free, or however they want to do it. Okay, you don't want to negotiate, you don't want to pay fine. So your security forces have to be at their best to ensure that whoever was kidnapped or abducted, gets set free, and then we don't keep having recurrent cases of kidnapping and abduction in the state.
Because places and environments, societies that say they do not negotiate with criminals, they have a working structure in place, to ensure that security is of topmost importance to the government and everything. So if he's standing by this statement, I think everything, very good. Everything should be done and not at the detriment of the people who have been abducted or kidnapped. Because
exactly.
their life is more important, regardless of whatever you say, if they're not negotiating with terrorists or doing anything, they have to be protected.
Yes.
So if I were a parent or a guardian of a ward or a child, and I'm like, look, whatever happens, I just want to see my child, even if it means me paying money. Do you understand? So let those things, let the intelligence be, updated, with technology and everything to ensure that these things work. So you can tell them, look, we're not negotiating and we're getting these people back.
Exactly.
And I think that's
exactly.
Good.
Point on. Okay, moving over to Imo State, where IPOB, that's the indigenous people of Biafra, have denied attack on correctional facility and police headquarters in Imo State. The proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, that's the IPOB, denied attacks on Imo's police headquarters and correctional center, where over 2,000 inmates were freed in the early hours of Monday. IPOB spokesperson Ima Powerful said the attacks were not carried out by operatives of Eastern Security Network, that's the ESN. He said the attention of IPOB has been drawn again to the fallacious and fabricated news that IPOB and ESN are involved in the attack of prison and police headquarters in Owerri, Imo State. The Nigeria government and a compromised media outfit should stop linking IPOB and ESN to the multiple attacks going on in Nigeria now. IPOB was formed on principle of peace and we are still in it. Unknown gunmen is a different people, which we don't know them and them not IPOB or ESN security outfits. Meanwhile, TOS News gathered that soldiers have taken over the Okigwe roundabout and road leading to the correctional center, diverting traffic flow.
All right, we move over still in Nigeria. This one is in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory City, and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has apprehended a drug trafficker Goodluck O'Day in Abuja on Sunday. A statement issued by the Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babafemi, confirmed that O'Day was caught at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and was in possession of 2 kilograms of heroin with a street value of 564 million naira. According to the NDLEA, the 40-year-old suspect hailed from Ipoba, Oka local government, Edo State. The agency also added that O'Day was arrested at the departure lounge of the NAIA during an outward clearance of Ethiopian aircraft 911 en route to Addis Ababa to Italy. While speaking to the operatives of the agency under interrogation, O'Day said he did not know how the drug got into his bags. We spoke about this story yesterday and we needed to know the details, who was doing what, where was the person going or was the person coming, and now we've gotten some self-information.
Apparently he was leaving the country.
But really, 564 million naira, I mean, that's
lot.
And for him to say he did not know that the drugs were his bag, I'm trying to wonder, is it like wild? Is it something that you cannot see? No, is it microscopic in nature?
I understand, but sometimes that's why I think I know one time there were my dad and some persons used to tell me that when you're traveling outside your country, you have to be very careful. Somebody's telling you, please hold this bag for me.
Yeah.
There are things that people could do, so when they don't want to get caught, especially drug peddlers and stuff like that. So they just prey on unsuspecting people.
Innocent.
Especially you're just nice. So that could be, a thing. But I just hope proper investigation is done. And if he's really innocent, as he says, I know investigations will prove that he's innocent. But otherwise, I mean, that's a lot of drug to be peddling and taking, out of the country. All right, that's the most we can take on, the development across Africa segment of the conversation. We're going to go on a break now, and in that time, we'll be bringing you COVID-19 updates from across Africa. Welcome back. That was COVID-19 update from across Africa. You can see the smile on my face. I'm quite impressed by the numbers. I can see like reduction in the number of active cases. I think yesterday was around 4.1 million, and today we're seeing 3.3 million, and then 97,000. Even though like 97,000, that's a lot.
More can still be done.
But yeah, and then the recoveries, like over 3 million recoveries. Numbers, we're doing the numbers, and I'm quite impressed by it. And that's what I've always said. Let's do our part so we can, see drastic reduction in the numbers and we don't have to worry about COVID-19 next year, 2022. I don't want to even have to come here on the show and talk about COVID-19 and tell you, take precaution. Let's not do that next year. Let's not even do that for the rest of the year. So just do what you have to do. So me, you, and the next person, is protected against COVID-19. All right, we're going to go on a break, and when we come back, we'll be taking you through newspaper headlines for this morning.
Welcome back to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network, 2S Television. And it's that time where we bring you, some of the newspaper headlines across some of the major national dailies in Nigeria. Before we go there, remember that you can always stay updated on the program by following us on our social media platforms at 2S TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, you can stream the program live on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com, and also subscribe on our YouTube channel at TOS TV Network. All right, we move over to the newspaper headlines for this morning, and we begin from Blueprint, beginning from the very top. $601 million airlines revenue blocked in 17 African countries. That story can be found on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper. And next, underneath is Stanbic IBTC introduces account for women in business. A good story, I must say, that can be found on page 22, seeing that we just concluded a month for International Women's Celebration. And underneath the headline Blueprint, we see 4 women deliver babies fleeing bandit attack in Niger. The writers underneath say 100 Shiroro communities deserted, and 25 days after, 5 of 39 abducted Kaduna College students regain freedom. All of that story can be found on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. I'm talking about the resident doctors strike. The resident doctors strike paralyzes hospitals. That can be found on page 9 of the Blueprint newspaper. We'll move over to the very gaping, obvious headline there. Tension in Southeast as terrorists attack Imo Correctional Center. And we have several riders on the there, and that's 1,844 inmates escape, 6 voluntarily return, 35 stay back. And the next one is IGP fingers IPOB, ESN deploys more squad, others probe. And says gunmen use IEDs, RPGs, SMGs to shell facility. The next rider is Uzodinma made security chiefs. Ikpeazu imposes curfew in Aba Umaya. And then it's a reprisal against Imo government coming from the Ohanese group. And then Buhari condemns attack, urges end to anarchy. All of that can be found on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And under the picture of the day where we see debris from some security vehicles, burnt during the attack. And Nigeria AFDB setting up $500 million fund for tech, creative sectors coming from the presidency. And that can be found on page 5. Just to get the details, the story on the picture of the day about what attack and what happened, you can get a copy of the Blueprint newspaper and open to page 6 to get all the details. And the last headlines under the Blueprint newspaper is transporters raise concerns over 10 billion naira COVID-19 bailout. That can be found on page 23. 49-year-old man rapes own daughter in Ogun State. The sad one can be found on page 15 of the Blueprint newspaper. And police killed bandit kingpin. Recover arms in Zamfara State. Can be found on page 15. And the last headline for the Blueprint newspaper for this morning is wreckage of crashed Alpha Jet pilot not yet found, coming from the Nigerian Air Force, and can be found on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper.
Quite interesting ones, especially the one where I said, resident doctors strike paralyzes hospitals in across Nigeria.
I mean, that's expected.
It's expected. I was going to say the same thing. It's expected. I've seen footages of, people that need emergency cases, people that need urgent attention in hospital, not, having help or care because there were no doctors on ground. I saw somebody comment, I think it was on Twitter, I was the 2 days ago or yesterday said a pregnant woman and her baby died because there was no doctor to attend to them at the hospital. Yeah. Quite sad story.
And that's the one we know. There are many others that we do not know that can be found.
I saw, you know, somebody that was supposed to be in the theater, and you know there were no enough hands to ask. It's quite sad because like when I saw, you know, those footages, I was very, very, very perplexed and very saddened by it. But we are going to be at the receiving end of all of this.
Definitely,
anyway.
Everything that happens.
Very, very at the receiving end, and it's terrible. And all we can do is to keep advocating, you know, for, you know, the health sector to be prioritized at this point. And like you always say, health is paramount. If you have good health structures,
we can talk about
good health system, we can also talk about other things. So I just think whatever the doctors are asking for, I wouldn't really know like the details of all of it, but this should be brought to the table, and then discussions should, you know, be ongoing and all of that stuff, so they can get back to work and go back to the hospital. Because in as much as I want to say, like I said the other day, their first priority should be protection, you know, how to save lives and all of that stuff. But there's also people, they have needs. If you haven't paid, I can't be working for months and going without pay and still be happy, you know, doing my
And the
job.
sad thing is, like I always say, there's an issue. The crux of the whole exercise is they're demanding for something. Yes. And now the government, people are saying from the government that, look, if you do not work, you will not get paid. And I'm saying, what's really happening? Like, all these things keep happening, and it's only the masses that will suffer. Yeah. That's why we keep asking, look, everybody, they have to play their part. Federal government has to do its part. Health is important, and we cannot overemphasize it. Yes, we have a president, you know, who is back on his routine trade, and people are saying, look, he should come back. Even if he doesn't come back, let things just work. That's what I'm asking
you know,
for.
the funny side of this, yeah, I saw a tweet yesterday where somebody said our president has gone to the UK where he was going to be attended to by Nigerian doctors who left the country where the health sector is not working, to go to another country where the health sector is working, where they get to pay them more, so you get to go there and pay more the money you don't want to pay.
You don't want to pay them. Still Nigerians.
It was funny, but it was like, it messed with my thought.
You know, we spoke about a Nigerian emerging like the best physician, you know, in America, and we're like, yes, these are Nigerians doing good things, doing great, amazing things there. So these people did not just wake up and, you know, just found the same. People are always on the run. Go to immigration centers. Yes. Go to the offices. You see the number of people that are registering to get international passport. Why can't we make things work here so we can make this comfortable for us?
I just hope that this is, because I know there's the no work, no pay
policy.
And
people are fighting against it. Really.
Yes, but they have worked for the number of time that they have worked for, paid them for that number of time, and I'm sure they'll be glad to return. And then I don't think they're only just looking for payment. They're also, you know, advocating for restructuring the Nigerian healthcare system and just making things better, you know. And I think that's all that we Nigerians are always, you know, just looking towards, making things better and habitable, making the country habitable for everyone. Now, moving away from that to the Daily Trust newspaper, starting from the very top as well. Ahead of defection, APC governors visit Matawale in Gusau. And then Azman begins corrections, shake up management. Emir raises alarm over influx of illegal miners from Zamfara to Kano State. And then moving to the very gaping headline on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, and now that's on the Imo attacks. IPOB building armory to actualize Biafra. That's coming from the Assistant Inspector General of Police. And then the 4 riders under that. The first one, it's sign of state failure, says Falana, that's Femi Falana. End anarchy now, that's coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. Southeast State Police commands ignore intels, and IPOB's kicks as Nnamdi Kanu hails onslaught. We can see, you know, pictures of the day there where damages that have been done, I think, in Imo State. The debris, cars burning and everything, quite sad. And then underneath that, 11 million naira ransom paid for kidnapped RCCG pastor and 10 others. And then underneath that, we have bandits sack over 100 communities in Niger State. States can tap 1.5 billion naira World Bank fund without approved tool. That's coming from the federal government. And then the last headline on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning says, ShopRite insists on sale of Nigerian outlets. All of these stories you can find on the Daily Trust newspaper.
And then we move further to the Daily Times newspaper, where we begin from the very top. That's federal government seeks Miyetti Allah's help to end security challenges in Nigeria. A very interesting story that can be found on the Daily Times newspaper. So just grab a copy and get all of the story there. Then we move over to the very obvious headline: gunmen attack Imo State Police Headquarters Correctional Center. Again, that story has been replicated across all the national dailies and can be found on page 2 of this, the Daily Times newspaper. And the picture of the day, again, in a reflection of the Imo attack. Underneath it says, Olu of Warri, 37-year-old Sola Emiko emerges new Olu of Warri. That can be found on page 19 of the Daily Times. And then besides that, talking about the ASU strike, federal government summons ASU to emergency meeting over looming strike. That can be found on page 3 of the Daily Times. And the last headline there is talking about insecurity. The Christian Association of Nigeria chairman El-Rufai in war of words over victims of banditry. And that can be found on page 3 of the Daily Times.
I don't know if you are like me, but I think I'm one of those persons that are tired of hearing our ASU strike year in, year out.
Every year. It has become some sort of a norm.
Exactly.
And it's a very sad thing to hear.
When, it's like when you're preparing, to get an admission into a Nigerian university.
You should plan for an
extra years, not even 1 year, because you can have ASU strike last for a month or 2-3 months, twice in 1 year. And then and I think it's been years and the demand has still been the same thing, right?
It's becoming tiring, really.
It's becoming tiring because these are people's lives that it's been toyed with, right? I don't think there's anybody that wants to stay in school for the longest time.
See the irony of it, yeah. We have just suffered a very large strike of pandemic. So students have been at home for the longest time possible. Is this not the best time to just carry along and let everybody just do their part to ensure that the education structure is in place and everything is set for the students to continue? Because I cannot imagine what those students begin to face. They have stayed at home for a long time, and now we're talking about the looming strike.
Funny enough, yeah, I keep hearing people like, I know my youngest at one time told me that, look, I'm tired. Like, I don't even want to go to school anymore.
Definitely, it's expected.
A few months, to wrap up.
There's no consistency. It's expected.
I should be like, I should have been done for like the longest time possible. It's been stretching. 4 years are stretched into almost 6 years, and I'm still not done. Like, I'm literally tired. Like,
we always tell people, plan your life, plan everything you're doing. But it looks like in this part of the world, we hope it changes. But you cannot definitely plan it when you're talking about schooling life. Exactly. Because if you're saying, between this time and this time, from 2021 or 2022, I should get, everything should be done with school. You do not have to say. It's obvious from Nigeria's system. It's obvious that you do not have to say of how long you spend in a government school. Because if you're talking about private schools, how many people can afford it? We're also talking about minimum wage that's not, be replicated across all the states. So, like, where are we really heading to?
I just hope. It's like we talk about insecurity, we talk about education, we talk about health. It's like we just keep going back and forth because the demand is basically the same thing. Make these things work better, right? Just put these people in front, their priorities, their needs, put it in front. I don't know if it's just the salaries that they're asking for. They're also asking for quite a number of things, but just make it better, because at the end of the day, it is we normal Nigerians that have to suffer. It is the parent at home that has to pay tuition for 6 years. It's the parent at home that has to wait for. I know there are quite a number of people who just waiting for the words to finish school and
so
then
they can get jobs
and stuff like that. And then having to now stretch. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot, and I think and I just hope things are done to just ensure that we don't have to have all of those, anymore. Amen. All right, moving away from, to move into the Nigerian News Direct, starting from the very top as well. Wreckage of crashed Alpha jet not found in Bama. That's coming from NAF. Unilever Nigeria records 3.96 billion naira loss in 2020. Asman owes federal government 1.54 billion naira service charge. That's coming from the NCAA. And then moving to the very gaping headline, and this one is replicated across major headlines across Nigerian newspapers. It's on the Imo attacks and says IPOB IGP trade words as Buhari orders arrest of perpetrators. And this is still on the ASU strike that we spoke about earlier. Strike threat. Minister calls for emergency meeting with ASU. We have human approach to taxation in Oyo State. That's coming from Oyo State Land Commissioner. And then CEPEG tackles Chevron over oil spill in Baramatu. And then just underneath, the first picture of the day, Glitz Glamour Sanusi Ohaire bags Akiwo Eje chieftaincy title. And then underneath that one, Gateway Trade Fair, Dangote ready to boost agric activities through strategic investments. NDLEA nabs trafficker with heroin worth 564 million naira at Abuja Airport. That's all of the headline on the Nigerian News Direct this morning.
All right, we move over to the very last, daily for today. That is the business day, and of course, from the beginning, where we can see the market monitor talking about the businesses in Nigeria and in Africa as well. We move over to the very gaping headline that says 612 microfinance banks may close shop over recapitalization, and the rider under it says as first threshold deadline ends this month, talking about the month of April. And then side by side is inflation. T-bills 8% return fails to shield investors. T-bills 8% return fails to shield investors. That can be found on page 31 of the Business Day. And then the very last headline for the Business Day newspaper this morning is warehouses, hostels offer investors growth opportunities. That can be found on page 30 of the Business Day newspaper.
All right, that's so much we can take on, the newspaper headlines for this morning. We'll be going on a break, and when we come back, I'll be taking you through what is trending on social media. Welcome back. Before I get into what's trending on social media, don't forget that you can be a part of the conversation by following TOS TV Network across our social media platform. That's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on YouTube. And then don't just watch the videos on YouTube. Subscribe as well so you don't miss out on anything. And also look up our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Now, taking you straight into what's trending on social media, and the hashtag IPOB has been trending in the last 48 hours, I think, and it's an offshoot of, what happened in Imo State, where the police headquarters in Imo State was attacked, and also, correctional facility in Imo State was attacked, and about 1,800 inmates were released, and, the attack had been blamed on IPOB, and I think this morning, while reading the news dailies this morning, the IPOB has said, look, we're not responsible for that. Don't blame us for that. It is not us. And I think, they're just unidentified. So just carry out proper investigation. IPOB is all about peace, and we know nothing about the attack. So there's been quite a number of tweets, to that regard, and I'm just going to read out some of those for you. The first one is from Dr. Joe Abba, and he says, this attack on a prison and police station by IPOB portends very grave danger for the Southeast. It is not in the interest of the Southeast, and it is an attempt to foment anarchy. I condemn it and call on the authorities to do so, or to do everything necessary to restore peace and sanity. The next one is from Henry Shield. Whatever IPOB becomes going forward, we have Buhari to hold accountable for it. And then the next one is from Aye Mujiba. Boko Haram didn't plan to become a terrorist organization. Do your research. The whole thing started just like Buhari government is treating IPOB today. And then the last tweet is from Uche P. Okoye. And then he says, Boko Haram released a video claiming to have gunned down Nigerian aircraft. Nigerian army, it is a lie. Boko Haram didn't do such. Unknown gunmen bombed Imo prison in less than 24 hours. Nigerian police, IPOB is responsible. IPOB, we are not responsible. So I can see the sarcasm, in this last tweet, and just so it's like, who are we going to hold accountable for whatever I say?
When everybody's saying, look, it's a lie, this is not me.
It's not me, it's me, and you're saying,
so
no, it can't be you. So who then are we going to hold accountable? And I think it just goes down to what I think Dr. Joe Abba says, that the Nigerian authorities have to do everything necessary to restore peace and sanity in the country, because it's beginning to look like every day you wake up, if something is not happening in the north, it's happening in the west. If it's not happening in the west, it's happening in the east, and it's becoming really sad because you don't know what news you're going to hear. I mean, I saw the pictures, lots of burnings to the building, cars, vehicles were destroyed, and then inmates were released. Those inmates were in prison for a reason, and then you have released them back into the society. I do know that we have, a huge number of innocent people in jail, but we have a huge number.
But some came back.
How did criminals? Some came back.
Yeah, they came back to the prison. Actually,
I think in that case, it's a case of, I don't think I have anything to do outside of here. There's nothing left for me.
Yeah.
So I can't. And then that you're always going to be on the run, because you escaped a prison facility.
I see all of this like anarchy that has to be settled as soon as possible, because really when these things start to grow, it becomes a kind of force that you need more attention to quell it. But now that it has just it's just started 2-3 days back now, and I think the Nigerian authorities and the security forces should do something about it. Like we said, if things are not, if you don't work on things when they're still at their, development stages, are that offshoot and everything, they will blossom and they become something that you have to, impute everything you can, monetary resources, financial resources, and everything to quell it. So we're asking for peace. That's just what we're asking for. Regardless of who is responsible, whether they're saying they're responsible or not, let everything just be settled as soon as possible.
Yes, and I think I agree with Merciful on that one. So with that, we're going to wrap up the social media trend segment of the conversation this morning. And about that time, we'll go on a break to bring you the big story.
Welcome back to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network, 2S Television. And of course, it's that time where we'll bring you the crux of the program, the big story. This morning on the big story, we take a look at the recently released 2020 country report on human rights practices with a focus on Nigeria, as released by the U.S. Department of State vis-a-vis the human rights practices in Nigeria. Joining us this morning via telephone conversation is Mr. Obinna Chukwueze, a communications and knowledge management expert. Mr. Obinna, good morning.
Yeah, good morning and good to join you this morning.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you. All right, first of all, what is your appraisal of this report? Is Nigeria doing well in the protection of human rights in the nation?
Looking at the report that came out recently, it's quite very disturbing. The human rights record in Nigeria is quite disturbing. And why it's disturbing to me is that virtually all aspects of human rights, all the rights enshrined in the constitutions, all of them have been infringed on. All of them. None of them is excluded. Everyone. It's either that they have been denied citizens, or there's an infringement on it, or there's an abuse. I mean, every kind of adjective you want to use to describe the situation is quite really disturbing, very disturbing. And these things are all there in the Constitution. The worst part of it is that what the government is meant to do, one of the government functions is to protect citizens, to protect citizens and make sure that these rights that is in the Constitution, that everyone enjoys it. So now those who are meant to protect you and make sure that you enjoy those rights are now the ones denying you of those rights. So that is the irony.
Okay,
it's crazy.
No, go on.
Yeah, so I feel like, something is really fundamentally wrong. And in the Constitution, it is called fundamental human rights. That means it is the rights and the freedoms that you enjoy from birth till death by virtue of you being a human being. As long as you came into this world and as long as you live in this earth till you die, it's fundamental. It is something that is given to you by virtue of you being a human being. So it's not like somebody created it and gave it to you. It's natural. It is not negotiable. So, but the indiscriminate denial of people, infringement on it, and all of that, by those who are meant to protect it, it gives me, a lot of disturbances.
Okay. Looking at the reports, putting it into perspective, that's a report from 2019 and 2020. Would you say you see like a significant improvement, or would you say there have been some sort of retrogression?
Pardon?
If we're going to put the reports into perspective in the year, comparing the year 2019 and the year 2020 as regards human rights protection in the country, would you say you see a significant progress, or we're looking at a retrogression?
No, we are going backward. We are going backward between 2019 to 2020. We went really far backward because, especially during the NSAS protest, it revealed a lot of things that have gone wrong with Nigerian citizens enjoying their human rights. Okay, what is the NSAS all about? It is to end police brutality.
Sure.
So brutality is against the rights of you brutalizing citizens, or the citizens you are supposed to protect. So this is when the citizens gathered together and said, enough is enough. We can't continue this way. We can't continue with it. So it got to a crescendo where police will, if you carry laptop, you're already convicted. What the law says is that you are presumed innocent until it's proven, contrary is proven. So, but when you carry laptop, you are now a cyber criminal. So it got to a certain level that citizens say, no, it can't continue this way. And there's a citizen-led movement to reject it. And they tagged it NSAS. So it got to a crescendo. So now when we also thought that, yes, they said they have had the demand of the citizens and they are going to end it. They now set up a tribunal so that they can bring justice to those whose rights has been trampled upon.
Yes.
Now, those tribunals are not even making their finding public. Nobody knows the outcome of. So the sincerity to even protect the rights of citizens is cleared out. It's cleared, but going by what is happening in the tribunal. In fact, some of the citizens representing youth are pulling out in different states because their interests are not represented.
Sure.
Some of them that have concluded citizens, they don't want to make the findings known. When you say whether it's getting worse or getting better, it's actually getting worse.
Getting worse. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Some people have faulted this report, because it's foreign. Some believe it's not a reflection of what is in fact the truth. The truth on our human rights and everything. Do you think the report is based on the fact, or do you think there's an alternative to it?
You mean alternative to this situation?
Like an altercation, like an altering, right?
Is the report, do you think it's based on the facts, or do you think some people are doing this, to fuel their own agenda?
Propaganda, yeah.
No, I didn't get you. You're not too clear?
All right. So some people are of the opinion that this report, because it's foreign, yeah, and it's not in fact the truth. That some people cook up some of this fact to fuel their agenda as politicians or humans. Do you think it's true, or do you think it's just what it is in this country as of now?
Yeah, those report, anybody who is very conversant with Nigeria and follows the trends across Nigeria, the report is a true reflection of what is on ground. There's no fabrication about it. So anybody, which one is fabrication? Is it that people are not? Now we're having the citizens are endangered species right now, because the people, the state actors, the government agencies, the police and all of that, on one side, are denying people their rights. Sometimes we criticize government to disappear. Now, so we are facing also non-state actors, the Boko Haram, the other different bandits and all of that. So there's never been a time in the history of Nigeria that the citizens are being in danger like now. So anyone who is saying that those reports, are false, it doesn't live in Nigeria.
Are you there?
Yes, yeah. So it's very, everywhere we go, everywhere we are confronted with abuse of our rights. You cannot even move the rights to freedom of movement. No, you cannot move because you don't know whether you move. The non-state actor will capture you and conscript the freedom of movement, or you don't move. The state actors will shoot you that you are a suspect. So there's never been a time that human rights is challenged like now in Nigeria. So anybody that report is even made according to what the citizens face.
Okay, so how can we now begin to look at full protection of human rights in Nigeria? You did mention the NSAS protest and everything that went down with it, and we know that we have a huge number of unreported cases of human rights infringements in Nigeria. So how can we begin to fully implement protection of human rights in Nigeria?
You mean how we can begin to
fully protect the rights of everyone, rights of humans in Nigeria? Where do we start from? How do we get there?
Okay. There is the law that provided for the right citizen also provided ways by which people whose rights have been infringed on can seek redress. Now, but there's a challenge. So the idea is that law says that people whose right has been infringed on can go to court and seek redress and look at the options available in the courts. One, the court can give them damages, can grant damages to those people. The court can also give injunction to stop infringement or prevent it. So it's that when it's being violated, you can go to court and stop it. Or when you perceive that it could be infringed on, you can also go to court and get injunction to prevent it.
Okay.
So these are the.
But we don't know.
This is the way Nigerian law provided for it.
Okay.
But now the question is, does these things work?
Yeah, I was going to get to the judicial system in Nigeria. We do know how faulty the judicial system in Nigeria is. So how well can they begin to do the whole redress? The process itself it's too long.
Yes, it's screwed up because one, these things are theory. When you say you go to court so now the bigger picture is that you go to court. If if your right has been infringed on, you have to go to court and get damages. Okay? Or if you can also go and stop it. Or you can go when you perceive it could be infringed on, you can go and prevent it, go to court and prevent it. Now, the state itself, so when you go to court and get an injunction to prevent it, how many Nigerian law enforcement agents, how many of those laws have they obeyed? So the states do not obey those injunctions. So that brings us back that the state makes the law, the state also violates the law.
So what do we do?
So we are at the mercy of God.
Wow.
We are the mercy because we are the mercy of God because we cannot do anything because some people are saying self-help, defend yourself. Since yes, they say okay, you want to make a protest, you right to freedom of movement and all of that. Then the police say you cannot do that. Then you go to court. Court says that, and you now go to state. The police will arrest you. So police violate those injunctions. So what do? We are in a helpless situation. But I know that one thing is this. There's a level you will get to in this country. There will be a revolution because it has gotten to the neck of everybody. Because we cannot do anything again.
So to be clear, on the issue of human rights in Nigeria, there's nothing that we as citizens can do. Even the judicial system cannot help us. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the grievances is building up. People are angry. They also award damages to people. People go there, right, has been infringed on. The court award damages. The state refuses to pay the damages. So the grievances is building up. So you can see here and there they are killing security agencies. These are grievances. People are no longer because they have lost confidence in the state to protect their rights. So people are resorting to one of the things you are seeing now coming here and they people taking laws into their hands is that when people's lives cannot be protected, they do go out themselves to protect themselves. Now they are seeing sort of police who are supposed to protect them, they see them as enemies. Now they are supposed to see the police as friends, but now they are seeing police as enemy. They see police, they shoot and kill. In fact, there's a report that said, I read yesterday, that said in every 48 hours, 2 policemen are killed in Nigeria.
That's very sad. Very, very sad, actually.
So when you see, because it has gone to a situation whereby you do no longer see them as friends. Those who are supposed to, when the court gives orders for them to protect you, they ignore those orders. They come to even arrest you and pick you without proper authorization. What does the law say? The human rights law said, you have to get warrants. They will just come and hound you on the street and throw you in the back, Black Maria, and throw you in the back of the yellows and keep you there without charge. So when you go to court,
as a communication and expert management, you are. What final words do you have for people? Because from the look of things, you have seen an issue that has only created problems and very discouraging. Because if you're telling people to it's just them and their God, it's not very encouraging. Because we are in a state and we have to do something about it if Nigeria must work. So, what are your final words for Nigerians out there listening on this show?
Well, we will keep doing our best. I would encourage Nigerians not to lose hope. Yes, the grievance anger is in the land. It is not good. It's just a matter of time. Things will explode. But let us keep, no matter how long it takes, let us keep, being civil and not take laws into our hands. Yes, we have a social contract between the citizen and the state. Yes, we have our responsibility. We obey law. We pay tax, and the state in return will protect us and make sure that all our rights and freedoms are protected. Now they are fulfilling on their bargain. But we should also not, 2 wrongs cannot make a right. Let us keep doing what we need to do as citizens. Let us keep doing our civic responsibility and human responsibility. Let them keep violating. Time shall tell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Albina. Thank you for joining the show this morning. We're out of time, so we'll have to let you go at this time. But thank you so much for joining the show.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. I don't know how to feel about that
How to process everything.
How to process it, because it seems as though, I kind of laughed when it says, it's just between you and God. And I'm like, God is not here, so we have to
We
do,
have to
we have to
make
do
things
something
work,
about
really.
it. We have to make things
Something
work.
must be
And I
done.
like, his concluding statement saying, look, I know it doesn't look good right now, but we cannot, take laws into our hands, and we cannot decide to start doing things for ourselves. So we
Because
still
two
have to
wrongs
follow
cannot
the
make a right,
process. We
yes.
still have to follow due process. The judicial system might take longer, but we still have to follow it. And then that's the only way that we can make things work.
And
right?
get justice.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining the show. Don't forget the conversation continues across our social media platforms, TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also on our website. You can stream the conversation, www.tostvnetwork.com. And also, follow TOS TV Network on YouTube, TOS TV Network. And don't just follow, don't just watch the videos. Subscribe, and so you can get notifications and you don't miss out on anything, on the amazing lineup of programs that we have for you on YouTube. Thank you so much again. I am Adesuwa Osui.
And I am Merciful Ajinamo. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.